My husband has an insatiable sexual appetite. After I got pregnant, Evan has been struggling with self-restraint. I tried every method to satisfy him, hoping to alleviate his tension. But he immediately posted online, how to cope when you're already full but still have to handle your wife's marital duties. The comment section exploded with wild suggestions. I instantly created a burner account and DM'd him, "Bro, need ways to stay satisfied. Will pay." He sent a payment QR code. I transferred $500 without hesitation. He sneered, "This chump change won't even cover group membership fees." My hands trembled as I sent another $1,000. I needed to see how my husband cheats online. Maybe I should spice things up myself. During early pregnancy, severe morning sickness forced me to take medical leave. When Evan offered to stay home, I refused. Pregnancy hormones made my face and body swell. I couldn't let him see me imperfect. Every evening before his return, I'd freshen up meticulously. Tonight's friend gathering required Evan's attendance. Worried about me, he brought me along. The dinner chatter gave me a headache. Stepping outside for air, I overheard, "Evan hooked us up with this killer app, solves everything without leaving traces." Yeah. Best part? Our women will never find it. No more paranoid phone checks. My heart sank. But I rationalized, maybe it's just stress relief for overworked men. Distracted, I didn't realize we'd arrived home until Evan opened my car door. "Sweetheart, feeling sick again?" His warm palm rubbed my back. "Hang in there. I'll take time off soon to pamper you." His sincerity made me scoff at my own suspicion. At home, Evan showered while I eyed his phone on the couch. "Checking my husband's phone isn't illegal," I whispered. Scrolling through apps revealed nothing unusual until I spotted unfamiliar software on the second screen. My trembling fingers hovered when the shower stopped. I snapped a photo of the app icon and replaced his phone. Emerging towel-clad, Evan noticed my shaking. "What's wrong? Morning sickness?" "Just need water," I croaked. He lifted me, his hand instinctively sliding under my sleeve to caress my waist. "I'll get it," he murmured against my neck. I grabbed his shirt hem. "Can we just sleep tonight?" His brow furrowed slightly. Though I found the mysterious app, that didn't prove anything. I quickly added, "I'm just exhausted. Honey, I'm really not feeling well today. Absolutely terrible." Seeing my genuine discomfort, Evan had to suppress his urges. His hands still wandered restlessly over my body as he spoke through gritted teeth. "All right. Get some rest. I'll work in the study. Okay?" I nodded, watching him settle me into bed before leaving. The moment the door closed, I grabbed my phone to investigate the new app I'd photographed earlier. The search results showed it was freshly launched with fewer than 20,000 downloads. Smart enough not to risk using my main device, I hesitated before installing. Lying back, memories flooded me how Evan and I met in high school despite our mutual disdain. Our reunion years later when I stumbled upon his startup in the same office building. The comfort of finding familiar company in a new city had me constantly helping his business, leveraging my connections to secure his early projects. What began as camaraderie gradually became something more. Evan's appetite was insatiable 3 times daily during our honeymoon phase. I'd mistaken his constant demands for passion, even when he'd accompany me on business trips despite his packed schedule. Colleagues used to joke about our inseparable bond. But as workloads increased, his demands never waned. During my periods, his puppy dog eyes and frustrated sighs always melted my resolve. I started ordering discreet pleasure aids online, our intimacy paradoxically improving through these mechanical intermediaries. The memory of his pouty expression made me reach for the bedside drawer. Clutching the silicone device, I tiptoed toward the study only to freeze at his phone conversation. "Come on, Evan. Posting that crap on public forums? What if Ashley sees?" A beat of silence before Evan's icy reply, "She doesn't surf the web much." You boys keep your mouths shut about her comments though. Understood? Laughter crackled through the speaker. Since when did you become such a devoted husband? Knock it off. She's carrying my child. After the birth. The rest drowned in static as I stumbled back to bed, trembling fingers navigating my backup work phone. The social media profile I uncovered confirmed everything. His latest post glared up at me, how to handle wife's demands after already being full. Exhausting. The thread continued with hundreds of vulgar suggestions. Evan's replies made me nauseous. Can't refuse, she's hormonal during pregnancy. Doctor says wait 3 months anyway. Gotta keep up appearances. Street trash isn't worth the risk. Tears blurred the screen as I created a male persona account. Liking his videos before DMing, bro. Need your full proof methods. Will pay. The payment QR code appeared instantly. Without another word. I immediately transferred 5,000. The recipient responded instantly. Is that all? Not even enough for the group entry fee. Group? What group? Determined to uncover the truth. I gritted my teeth and sent another 10,000. This finally earned me a WeChat ID. Note 19,998 as contact name. No note. No approval. A code name? Switching to the burner account I'd registered under my company. I sent the request. Evan approved instantly. Forwarding group rules that read like a dictator's terms of service, all power to the group admin. No refunds for expelled members. Understood. I replied obediently. The newly formed group contained familiar faces. These men hadn't even bothered changing their profile pictures from last night's damning conversations. Trash attracts trash. After all. Evan cut straight to business. When I tried DMing questions, a group announcement popped up, nightly updates on locations and headcounts. In-person meetings require paid app invitation codes. The app. This must be what I'd photographed on Evan's phone. Memories resurfaced 6 months ago at his office. Overhearing Ryan whisper, heard the software's finally ready? When's the rollout? Stop snooping on the boss. When I'd asked about it then, Evan's face darkened. Who's flapping their gums to you? He'd claimed it was an unfinished anniversary gift. But Ryan disappeared soon after. Now the mystery software required paid access. I fired off. Pricing? A rate sheet appeared. Frowny face software unlock, 9,999 location tracking, 19,999 contact details, 29,999 ironclad contracts guaranteed no refunds. Fortunately, Evan's monthly $20,000 household allowance had built my secret war chest. I paid through the company account. Untraceable to me. My prompt payment didn't faze him. Usage instructions arrived instantly with a caveat, first activation only after 5 p.m. He logged off before I could ask why. Sleep evaded me until dawn's exhausted haze. Morning found Evan gone. Breakfast waiting as always. His meticulousness cut both ways. Even so, it couldn't erase the fact of his betrayal. My chest tightened unbearably. Unable to eat. I rushed to the bathroom and vomited again. My stomach had long been empty, leaving only bitter bile that burned my throat as I collapsed painfully on the floor. It took every ounce of willpower to drag myself up, force down some food, and hail a cab to buy a new phone. Remembering Evan's instructions, I waited until exactly 5 p.m. when he logged in as promised. Ready? Yeah. During the download, I kept making excuses for him. Maybe this really was just normal software. Maybe he hadn't betrayed me. Maybe he was still the Evan I thought I knew. The download finished in a minute. Yet I couldn't bring myself to open it until his impatient message popped up. You done yet? Swallowing the lump in my throat, I clicked the icon. The instant it launched, Evan sent. Wait! Don't touch anything. Use your other phone to film this now. Confused but compliant. I recorded the screen and sent the video. Only then did he respond lazily. All right. Now just wait for the system to assign someone. The app showed nothing but a blank invitation code page. Feeling played. I furiously messaged him. Dude. What's this bullshit? I paid good money for a blank app. Explain this. And why the video? Radio silence. Just as I prepared to spam him, a reply finally came. Chill out. Man. We need time to match your preferences. The videos to verify compliance. Then nothing. Scrolling through the terms. My blood froze at one clause. The app automatically accesses your phone's location after installation. So Evan. Guilt twisted my gut like I'd committed the crime. When Evan returned home, he acted perfectly normal, wrapping me in a hug. How's my girl today? Any trouble? Distracted. I shook my head. He immediately noticed. What's wrong? Something bothering you? Before I could answer, his phone rang. He sighed apologetically. 1 second. On the balcony. His hushed voice carried fragments. Ashley's been struggling lately. No. A long pause. Then resigned. Fine. On my way. Returning. He looked torn. Ashley. Remember that software I mentioned developing before? Something urgent came up at the office. I might be very late tonight. Maybe even stay over. Be good and stay home. Okay? That's when I understood the other woman couldn't wait anymore. Forcing a smile, I looked at Evan. All right. But make sure to rest. You've been losing weight lately. At my words, he automatically moved to embrace me. Of course. Once we finalize this software development, I'll take you and the baby on that vacation I promised. He grabbed his jacket from the couch and strode out. The door clicked shut. I waited 3 breaths before slipping out after him. The private investigator I'd hired earlier pulled up beside me, pointing at Evan's taillights disappearing around the corner. I hissed, "Follow them." We trailed his car to the corporate parking garage. When that giggling girl launched herself into his arms, realization struck. It was her. Before my pregnancy, I used to wait at Evan's office every evening. Back then, her crystalline laughter constantly echoed through the sterile workspace. Curious. I'd asked Ryan, Evan's assistant, "Who's that?" Now that I think back, Ryan's expression had shifted subtly. Oh, the new admin assistant. Bit of a chatterbox. Isn't she? Should I ask her to quiet down? Mrs. Roberts? I'd found it odd. Evan always prized silence. No need. Just remind her to lower her voice when Evan returns. You know how he hates noise. Ryan had nodded briskly. Understood. Now everything made sense. Only with Evan's explicit permission could anyone dare disrupt his sacred workspace. Or perhaps, this girl held special privileges. Their embrace tightened. Lips locked in that desperate way of new lovers. When they finally broke apart, Evan swept her into the car with fumbling urgency. The vehicle began rocking violently, no attempt at subtlety. My knuckles whitened against the door handle. When the motion ceased, I glimpsed Evan's silhouette through tinted windows, fingers trembling as he buttoned her blouse. Memory flashed to our first date in that beat-up sedan I'd scrimped to buy, windows that stuck unless manually cranked. Our nervous laughter fogging the glass as we kissed. Ashley, he'd vowed, forehead pressed to mine. I'll give you the world. Just wait. 3 years. He'd kept that promise. Yet somehow, the boy who kissed me in that clunker had vanished. Their car window rolled down, releasing muffled giggles and the acrid tang of sex. Tires screeched as they sped toward the outskirts. I touched my face, surprised to find it wet. Keep following, I ordered hoarsely. They entered a gated estate hotel, security waving them through with familiar ease. The investigator turned, uncomfortable. Mrs. Roberts, this place requires either reservations months in advance or 7-figure membership. We can't. I was already typing furiously on my phone, find me someone who can get us in now. Triple the fee. After sending over the photos of the girl we'd found per their request, I texted, do exactly as agreed. I want to meet her. The response came agonizingly slow. Just as I reached my limit, 2 messages finally appeared, pick someone else. She's unavailable. We'll refund you if unsatisfied. I laughed bitterly. The sound startling the 2 men in the car. They ended up driving me home instead of taking me to see the girl. The moment I entered, Evan's presence assaulted me from every corner. I collapsed against the front door, sliding down to sit curled on the floor until dawn's first light. My phone screamed with an incoming message, Emma's full profile. The recent graduate had been the first female user on their male paid dating app. Evan had hired her as his administrative assistant without interview 6 months prior. 3 business trips coincided with my early pregnancy bed rest. Photographs showed Evan rushing back within 3 days each time, to be with Emma. His radiant smile in those pictures outshone any he'd ever given me. Where Emma basked in sunlight, I'd become a shadow creeping through their digital footprints. The unknown caller identified herself without preamble. Ashley, this is Emma. She'd known my number, another privilege Evan had granted her. I dragged myself upright, stiff limbs protesting after hours on cold tiles. My reflection showed sleepless bruises under hastily applied makeup as I entered the cafe. Emma stirred her latte, studying me. Yesterday's chat on the app, her smile held pity. That was me. My carefully constructed composure shattered. Evan doesn't love you like you think, she continued, watching me flounder for soap opera-worthy comebacks. If he cared, he'd have recognized your writing style immediately. Her words hung between us like smoke. When she asked why, I had no answer. The truth burned. Evan's first love had already walked through our door wearing Emma's face. Because I love him. He's wealthy, handsome, the perfect partner. Why wouldn't I? Emma's bluntness left me speechless. Oh, and the chemistry between us in bed is unreal. Evan himself told me that. I'll admit I'd often sought out Evan initially because of his looks, tall, devastatingly attractive, attentive, and flawlessly accomplished in his career, the kind of man who'd never suffer a midlife marital crisis, prime husband material, no doubt. Strangely, hearing this made me feel they actually suited each other. My lips parted, but the words died in my throat. Pale as death, I braced myself against the table. The room spun when I stood, yet I forced myself to meet her gaze. Regardless, we're still married. Darkness swallowed me before I finished. There's this thing called divorce, Ashley. Emma's voice trailed me into oblivion. In the haze, I relived our newlywed days, cramped in that dingy rental, holding hands to hunt discounted groceries before cooking dinner together. Back then, Evan worshipped the ground I walked on. Had we had his current wealth then, he'd have laid the world at my feet. But now, Emma's boldness proved how much he indulged her. That girl feared nothing in her pursuit of him. My chest ached anew. Agony roused me after fitful sleep. Night had fallen. The empty hospital room pressed its loneliness into my bones. My parched throat refused sound. The searing pain below confirmed what I'd lost. A nurse answered my call, pity dripping from her consolation. You're young. MS. Simmons. There'll be other children. Focus on healing now. I expected tears. Guilt over losing my baby amid this mess. Instead, relief. Forcing her into this toxicity would have been cruel to us both. My phone lay silent when the nurse handed it over. Only Ryan called later. Sophia? We're debugging the new software. Evan might pull an all-nighter at the office. I hung up before he finished. The private investigator's files arrived instantly. Evan had rented an entire hotel to celebrate Emma's birthday. As my child's heartbeat faded, so did my love for him. I discharged myself against medical advice. Packing at home revealed how little I owned, few clothes. No jewelry. Just rotation of classic footwear. 2 suitcases held my life. The divorce papers I'd secretly drafted pre-confrontation now lay on our table. 1 month's mandatory cooling-off period remained. The cab carried me to a postpartum care center. From now on, I'd be the only one tending these wounds. Fortunately, a room had just become available. After settling everything, I collapsed onto the bed exhausted. Thankfully, this was the most restful sleep I'd had in days. The shrill ringtone startled me awake. I'd already turned the volume down. But it persisted relentlessly. My finger hovered over the screen when I saw the caller ID, finally answering just before it went to voicemail. Ashley. Let me explain. It's not what you think. The panicked voice rushed out. You're pregnant, don't stress yourself. Emma and I. We're just. Evan. My quiet interruption froze his rambling. The documents on the table should explain everything. I know it all now. Let's part ways amicably. No more contact. Silence. Then came the enraged roar. No. I refuse. Ashley. You can't do this. His tone shifted to pleading. Listen. Our baby shouldn't go through this trauma. Come home. Please. The baby is gone. Tears finally spilled as my voice cracked. You heartless bitch. Evan's scream distorted the speaker. Our mistakes shouldn't have cost our child. Since when did you become this cruel? The line went dead with finality. I knew this silence meant surrender, though I'd read about dramatic revenge plots in novels. Now that reality struck. I only wanted swift escape from this toxic entanglement. The next morning, Evan signed the divorce papers. Once submitted, we only needed to wait out the cooling-off period. Though he believed I'd intentionally terminated the pregnancy, he still allocated substantial assets to me. I accepted without protest. This compensation was earned through suffering. Somehow Emma discovered the settlement. She descended upon the postpartum care center like a hurricane, fists pounding the door. Ashley! You greedy whore! Come out! Her shrieks echoed. What gives you the right to take so much? What did you ever contribute? Staff attempted intervention but got shoved aside. Watching the chaos unfold, I dialed Evan. Get to the recovery center. Now. Your mistress is causing a scene. When Evan arrived, Emma had exhausted herself into a crouching position, still muttering obscenities. Enough. Emma! Stop this madness. He barked. I authorized those payments. Drop it. The blonde launched herself tearfully into his arms. You promised all your money would be mine. Evan! What about me now? His gaze drifted to where I sat observing. After prolonged silence came the quiet verdict. Don't worry. I'll keep earning. This was her due. Future earnings will be yours. Emma immediately preened like a victorious queen. Fine then. Just remember, she sneered in my direction. No matter how rich he gets. Don't come crawling back jealous. Dragging her stone-faced prize away. She left triumphantly. That night, I texted Evan, use your connections. I want the divorce finalized tomorrow. 30 minutes later, done. Next morning found me bundled up like a burrito outside City Hall. Evan lingered with unspoken words. I strode past without hesitation. The December chill numbing more than just my fingertips. Hurry up. I'm on a tight schedule. It had to be said. Connections really made things easier. Soon after finalizing the divorce, Evan looked at me sitting there. The finance department will expedite settling and transferring your share. Good. I walked away without looking back. As for Evan, I hoped we'd never cross paths again. Today marked 1 week since I left. I'd settled in a small town, using the money Evan provided to purchase a quaint house with a yard. My days now revolved around sunbathing, reading, and peaceful contentment. On furniture delivery day, I discovered my bank account drained during a morning withdrawal attempt. Reluctantly powering up my phone, I was bombarded by missed calls and messages. One news headline caught my eye. Couple's vigorous intimacy leads to fatal hemorrhage. Woman succumbs to ruptured ovarian cyst. The victims were identified as Evan and Emma. I immediately contacted Ryan. Apparently, I'd forgotten the final payment for our private investigator after leaving. They'd approached Evan instead, revealing every detail of Emma's confrontation with me that day. though Evan showed no visible reaction. The incident occurred the following morning. Most shocking was his silent acceptance of full responsibility during trial. He'd been sentenced without contest. Hearing this, I sighed heavily. Ryan asked if I'd return to manage the company. After consideration, I declined. Consult professional teams through proper channels with Evan. These recent events reaffirmed my belief in simple living. Adults must face consequences for their choices. After changing all contact information, I continued my tranquil life, savoring the quiet rhythm of ordinary days.